Hello everybody, Razorblade Mango here, and this is Dark Souls 3. So yeah, forewarning, there are going to be visual spoilers. I'm going to be showing areas that come after the opening area, after the Firelink Shrine and the High Wall of Lothric. So if you're someone that doesn't want to see any footage or any of the areas or any of the bosses after the opening area, then don't watch this video. Avoid this video at all costs. But if you're someone that really doesn't matter, welcome. So I'm going to be showing pretty cool stuff. Some humiliating deaths at a few points. But. And I'm sorry, I'm still recovering from my voice sounding like a chipmunk. The best way I can describe it is like a chipmunk going through puberty and having sandpaper rubbed in his throat at the same time. I mean, I've sounded like shit these past few days, and I'm not even like, I wasn't even like sick, but I've just felt like crap these past few days. And, you know, thankfully I've had Dark Souls 3 to keep my spirits high, because this is a damn fine game for all, and that's the cool thing I've always liked about this series. Even as somebody who doesn't love and worship the Souls series, one of the things I can definitely appreciate is that it's a series that is made very obvious that there is a lot of care and love that goes into them. I mean, Hidetaka Miyazaki, there's a reason why Dark Souls 3 is considered kind of like the black sheep of the family. It's just, while it's alright, it just doesn't have that signature touch that Hidetaka Miyazaki brings to his stuff. And I think that's, for the most part, that's returned for Dark Souls 3. Do I think it's fantastic? No. I don't. Even after I've been going through it with a second character. My first character was a knight, but the footage you're gonna see in this video is all from my pyromancer character, and she's an absolute badass. So, which is, I love my pyromancer. I'm like, why the hell didn't I start with the pyromancer? I don't think I would have gotten so far. I don't think I've gotten where I am now as my knight if I didn't have my pyromancer's fireballs and the fire stuff. It's really cool. Magic is really nice in Dark Souls 3. And I love my pyromancer. I love my badass flame attacks. It's pretty fucking awesome. So my initial thoughts when I went through it with my knight character is that I thought it was a good game. Just good. And to be honest, I kind of ruined my initial playthrough for myself, because I went through it kind of like not really a speed run. I sped through a lot of it just to get to the bosses. My mentality going through it the first time is that I don't give a shit about the area. I don't give a shit about the other enemies. I just want to see the bosses. I just want to get through the bosses. Get through to the bosses. And I kind of fucked myself in that way, because this is a game that's meant to be, it's like a really fantastic steak. Like a small portioned amazing steak that you can't just rush through. That's not the point of this steak. The point of the steak is for you to slowly cut into it and savor every little bite, you know, like just try to get the little subtleties in the cooking in there. And that's what is so good about Dark Souls. And I fucked myself. I'm more than willing to admit that is my fault going through this all wrong. I would not recommend doing what I did, going through Dark Souls 3 or any of the Souls games like what I did. And I should have known better, but at this point, I don't know why I was so damn impatient. I just was like, I don't give a fuck, I just want to get to the bosses. And I must say, even on my second playthrough, where I am now, I'm not going to reveal late game bosses, because I'm not like super far into the game, but there's a certain cutoff point where I'm going to be like, no, I'm not going to put this in the video. But beyond a certain boss that you're going to see in this video, I haven't been like really wowed with the bosses so far. There's a few of them that hit that sweet spot that I'm looking for. But my problem with the bosses in Dark Souls 3 right now is that either they are pushovers, which some of these enemies come in and they're all like, "Roar," they have these badass, intimidating designs, and then I just kicked their ass in like the first go around. It was like, I'm like, what the fuck? That's it? Are you shitting me? Or they're irritating. They all focus on like weak points. They all focus on crowd control. Those are my least favorite bosses out of any of the Souls games. That's like when, even in Bloodborne, I don't like the battles against Rom the Vacuous Spider, and I don't like the battle against Mikolash. I don't like battles that are just like these prolonged things where they go through other phases besides like transformations and shit. I just don't like that kind of thing where you have to deal with grunts and wave based bosses. I don't like it. Or trying to hit them in a specific weak point. I don't like that. Just give me a boss. I'd rather have the boss be tougher, but anything goes as far as like doing damage to it. I'd rather it be that. And in my opinion, I think Dark Souls 3 kind of doesn't. It's inconsistent with its bosses. Like early bosses are really tough. Some of them are pretty tough, and some of them you're gonna have a hard time getting through, especially if you're not a Dark Souls. If you haven't played any of these games before, if this is your first Dark Souls game, you are going to have a bitch of a time getting through the first 3 or 4 bosses, because you're going to be like, oh shit, what the hell do I do? Because you're just not in that mentality like people that have played these games before are. But it's just weirdly inconsistent. And like I said, some of them hit the sweet spot. Some of them are like, they are tough, but they are fair and they're fun. Some of the bosses are simply just not fun, and it's kind of disappointing. And I did spoil myself on some of the bosses, and I'm actually really looking forward to some of the bosses later on in the game. I'm not looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to it at the same time, which is cool. It's a feeling I should be feeling. Also, as I've said with Bloodborne, whoever does the art design on these games, just bravo. Just, oh my goodness. Just the creature design, the art design, environment design, weapon design, just everything. Anything that has to do with the visuals and the music and the sound, oh my goodness. Like I mean, I know Hidetaka Miyazaki is the mastermind behind the whole thing, but I mean, these games would be nothing without the environment designers that they have, without the composers that they have. This is a beautiful soundtrack. I don't think it's quite up there with Bloodborne's soundtrack, which was, in my opinion, the best of 2015. But it's still, I love playing this soundtrack in my car when I'm driving to work. I'm dying to get my hands on some kind of art book, because I didn't end up getting the collector's edition, much to my regret. I want some kind of art book of this, and I'd actually be willing to buy, but I've heard shitty things about the strategy guide, so I'm really not going to bother. I just love looking at these games, and I love, even though despite how bleak and depressing and sad they can be, this is still a game that has a very gorgeous like color palette, and just the little details in the environment really make this place seem like alive and fresh and just exciting to look at. I mean, it's a visual treat. It's a treat for the eyes to look at these games, and they don't have like the multi-million-dollar budgets like so many game companies do to have these amazing CGI cutscenes and stuff. But what it lacks in this like impressive AAA money thing, it makes up for in intimacy, in intimate details, and immaculate design. And it's gorgeous to look at. I defy anybody to look at these games, and like sights in this game, and not go, holy shit, this is incredible. Especially one area, I'm not going to spoil which one, but it is like as far as just design goes, the way it looks is probably my favorite environment in any of these Souls games. You'll know it when you see it. It is beautiful. It's just like I had to stop and just look at it for a good 2 minutes, and I was like in a trance for those 2 minutes. I haven't felt that way about a game environment since I watched the sunset when I was like 12 while playing Radiata Stories on the PS2. I mean, I haven't had that big of an emotional response to the initial reveal of an environment in a long time. I mean, anything surpasses anything I've seen in like The Witcher or Bloodborne or whatever, just any games in these past like decade or so. I mean, it's that fucking good. It's that incredible. And I can't wait for you guys to see it if you buy Dark Souls 3, of course. Also, I like that this game is kind of like it's like a weird combination of all the different elements of these games. You get the speed of Bloodborne, you get kind of the navigation of Demon Souls and Dark Souls 2, and then you get the class design of Dark Souls. And it's like this marriage of all these different elements from all the different games in the Souls series. And they've gone on to say that this game is like the final one. And I really hope it is. Because even as someone who really likes this game, I can definitely tell that it's not that it's starting to lose steam. It's that this game is in danger of losing steam if they. I mean, I wouldn't mind a Dark Souls 4 if they did it like say 10 years from now. If they were to come back 10 years from now and be like, hey, we're making a Dark Souls 4, or hey, we're making a Bloodborne 2, I'd be like, fuck yeah, now's the time. But with the way they've been pumping these games out, because I'm pretty sure 2013 is when Dark Souls, I don't know, either 2013 or 2014 is when Dark Souls 2 came out, and then Bloodborne was 2015, and now you got Dark Souls 3 in 2016. I mean, they've been making games at a pretty rapid pace, and it's incredible that they are at the majority of them. This and Bloodborne are like of really high quality, and it's great, and I admire their work effort, their ethic, and everything. But it needs to slow down. You guys need to take a break from the people from Software. If you are listening to this, please take a break from Dark Souls. Take a break from this entire formula. Go on and work on something else for like, I don't know, 10 years. Make a new series, and then 10 years from now, come back and be like, hey, now we're going to do another type of these games. And people will lose their shit because enough time has passed. And you won't get what like Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty have now with franchise fatigue. You're not going to get that. So I hope this truly is the last Dark Souls for a long while. I don't want any more. I want it to just be special. I want when these games come out, I want them to feel like events. Like when they announce them at E3 or however the hell they announce them. I want people to be like, "Oh my god, I cannot wait." But I can definitely see that losing steam if they keep making games, like, because they've been doing, I think it's like one a year, or one or two, including a Scholar of the First Sin edition for Dark Souls 2. Which, yeah, I hope they kind of slow their rolls on these. As great as they are, and believe me, they are great. It's just, you need to take a break from them. That's all I'm. And another thing I really enjoy about this game is that it does have more influence from Bloodborne. I think it's like, you can have that, you can feel that DNA of Bloodborne in here, where Bloodborne comes in and it's like fast and hard and aggressive, and that's that's something I respond to a lot better. But it's like I said, it's this nice, how do I put it? It's like a nice compromise between the two. I mean, you've still got like the more defensive, slow-paced nature of Dark Souls, but it's a lot quicker. The enemies move a lot faster, and some of them, like the boss from the High Wall of Lothric, or one of the Lords of Cinder, like quite a few of the Lords of Cinder, are really fast. I mean, you gotta really just keep up the pace, or you're screwed. You can't just hide behind a shield. You're gonna have to learn how to dodge roll. You're gonna have to learn how to use spells. I mean, it's tough. It's really tough. But one of the things I do like about this game, even though it gets ridiculously hard at points, it's tough, but it's fair, and it teaches you and it encourages you, because as much as Bandai Namco likes to go, or Namco Bandai, whatever the fuck they're called, they don't, they don't deserve to have their name properly pronounced after the shit show that was the release for this game. But it's like they love to go, oh, prepare to die. All this series is about is dying over and over again. It's so hard. It's so hard, you guys. This game is for hardcore audiences. If you beat the game, and beat Chicken Wings, you're gonna get a Dark Souls t-shirt. It's just so hard, man. It's just, oh my god, it's just all about suffering and shit. Well, it's not, and I hate that mentality behind the people that like Bandai Namco that markets this fucking series. I think Sony's job of marketing Bloodborne was a lot better, and I'm gonna go on a little tangent about this. I think the way they marketed Bloodborne was much more respectful in tone. It treated it with some fucking dignity. It didn't pull stupid shit like, oh, if you eat a bunch of hot wings, you're gonna fucking get a Dark Souls t-shirt. Who fucking cares? Who the fuck associates Dark Souls with hot wings? It's so fucking stupid. And even in the trailers, as much as I do like, the only trailers that I've really liked from the Dark Souls game, the Dark Souls 3, are the ones that use the soundtrack, like the music. Like Bloodborne, the majority of the trailers, the only trailer I can think of that didn't have the orchestral score from the actual game was the Cut You Down song, which it's a really good song, even though I wasn't a fan of the trailer, because it kind of dressed it up more as like a hack and slash RPG than like something like the horrifying beauty of the Souls series. And that's probably my favorite term from the series. Horrifying, the grotesque beauty. It's like a lot of the game is just very morbid and disturbing, and is very oppressive and depressing and terrifying, but it's still beautiful to look at. It's not this boring, you're gonna die over and over again. It's designed to be challenging but fair and encouraging, and that's something that Bandai Namco just doesn't understand with the marketing. All they see is just prepare to die, prepare to die, prepare to die, and it's just, ugh, I just don't like it. I think Sony's job of marketing Bloodborne was just a lot better. Kept in tone with the game. But that tone definitely is in Dark Souls 3, even despite its really shitty marketing for it. Like in America, it's just, it still has that Dark Souls quality to it, where even though it's very nice, it's still very, very fucked up. It's very disturbing. And to be honest, they've actually, even with them curving the difficulty a bit in this game, because they have, admittedly, like the early bosses are not exactly pushovers, but they don't have as much like health as I expected them to have. They're still aggressive as fuck, and they still will kick your ass if you're not careful, but they're not like incredible challenge like it's not like a wall you have to get over like what Father Gascoigne was in Bloodborne. Because in Bloodborne, when you went against Father Gascoigne, that was like if you were just kind of breezing through the game, that was like a rude awakening. I was like, oh shit, I really have to like know my stuff when I'm playing this game, because that was the first like real challenge. And I completely understand if anyone wanted to dip out of Bloodborne as soon as Father Gascoigne reared his head and just was like, fuck this, I ain't gonna play this shit anymore. But there doesn't seem to be that point in Dark Souls 3, at least yet. You know, the opening boss is challenging, but if you manage to get through the area alright and you learn like the basics, hey, it's fine. You won't have a problem getting through the opening boss. You won't even have a problem getting through, I think, like the, I don't know, like the 3 or 4 opening bosses. They're not pushovers, but they're not like huge challenges either. But once you start getting into, of course, once you start getting into like the, not late game, but like once you start encountering the Lords of Cinder, and that's not a spoiler because that's in the fucking, that's in the prologue that you're gonna face the Lords of Cinder. Once you start facing them, that was like, oh shit, this is the real wake up call. Because I went against one of the Lords of Cinder, and I was like, oh shit. And it was really funny. Actually, tune out for a few minutes if you don't want me to like talk about. I'm not gonna name names, but one of the Lords of Cinder fights was like, it seemed way too easy, and it was still challenging, and I still had to be quick on my feet and on my toes the whole time. But it was like, this doesn't feel as challenging as it should be. Why doesn't this feel more challenging? And then something happens, and I was like, oh shit. I knew there was some kind of catch. And they play that trick a lot from what I've seen in Dark Souls 3. Not to give away any spoilers, but they do the thing where it's like, you think you've beaten the enemy, and then the enemy just comes back once more with like an even more powerful form. And this game, like Bloodborne, it really, like of course, like the past entries, of course, it really encourages resource management. And that's what I love about Bloodborne. That's what I really like about Dark Souls 3, is that it's still a kind of a, not exactly a strategy game, like it's not like Civilization, but there is an element of strategy to it. There is an element of quick thinking, where you have to be like, hey, I need to save this amount for the next fight. How am I going to manage this? How am I going to, you know, like keep up with the resources and everything? I need to plan, I need to think and act accordingly, and that's really cool. That's what I love about this. That's what I love about Bloodborne. That's what I really like about the other games, is that it doesn't just require you to think via like, you know, how can I avoid the boss in order to get like maximum damage on him. It's no, how the hell am I going to avoid the boss so I can keep my resources, so I can plan for future versions of this boss. And it's pretty damn cool what they do, the way they do it in Bloodborne, the way they do it in Dark Souls 3. One of my complaints about Dark Souls 3 so far, also, if I'm going to dip into the negative again, is that like the environments, some of them I'm not all that crazy about. One of them I flat out hate, just because I don't think it's fun. Even with the difficulty of, you know, this series, there's always that element of fun. Even when you're getting your ass kicked and the game is like grounding your will to live into dust, it's still fun. You still want to keep playing it. But there's one area in this game that just really tested my patience, where I was like, fuck this. This is terrible. I do not want to be playing in this area anymore. And I was just like, I'm close to just being like, fuck it, I'm done. So, but I pressed through and I got through it okay, and I'm not looking forward to going through it again as my pyromancer. But it's just, it's one area, but I'm not like blown away by most of the areas in this game. I think like the highlights for me is the one that I mentioned earlier. High Wall of Lothric is pretty cool. The rest I think are okay, but they're probably not going to stand out in my mind like Old Yarnum or the Canehurst or like the Hunter's Dream, just stuff from. And I know I keep mentioning Bloodborne, but that's kind of like my measuring, what I measure this game up to, Bloodborne. Because if it ain't gonna top Bloodborne, then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to mention it, because Bloodborne's like my high mark for this series. But this one area I really hated just because it stepped out of that line of being fun and just went into, oh my god, I don't want to play this anymore. I don't want to be in this area. Fuck this. This is fucking terrible. But yeah, besides that, most of the areas are pretty cool. Only a few are like really noteworthy or really interesting. And my final note before I stop for the night, this is a very deep game. Both mechanically and the environment. I mean, it is packed to the brim with detail. There is so much like hidden stuff in these environments. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's stuff that I've missed in the opening area. I'm pretty sure there's like weird shit that you can find that like that anyone hasn't even uncovered yet. I mean, even like the big channels like Vati Vidya, who I'm a big fan of, and definitely you should subscribe to that guy if you are like a Dark Souls, Bloodborne fan. But it's not. It's so mind-blowing the amount of like early game shit that Miyazaki crams into his games. I mean, and Dark Souls 3 is no exception. There was stuff that I found out early on that I was like, what? Just like blew my mind. I was like, what the fuck? That's an actual thing? I gotta go back and try that shit. So, you know, props to Hidetaka Miyazaki for putting something in like that. It's just cool. It just harkens back to like the old spirit of exploration, like what games used to be before the internet existed, where like a lot of games in this day and age are like, well, I already know most of the secrets because everybody on the fucking internet knows. But thankfully, not in Dark Souls 3. In Dark Souls 3, the internet is like, shit, there's probably so much stuff that we haven't even found out yet. There's probably stuff in Bloodborne people haven't even found out. So yeah, it's just incredible the amount of depth he puts in these games. So yeah, Dark Souls 3, it's really fucking good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to going through more of it. This is definitely a contender for being on like my top 10 games of 2016. I'm probably only gonna do that, you know, cream of the crop thing once, because there's like one game that I kind of love that has microtransactions, but I really want to make a video about it. So, which is Plants vs Zombies: Garden Warfare 2. Spoiler alert: I think that's an excellent game. I still need to do a damn video about that. There's like four fucking videos I need to do. So I need to get on top of that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Dark Souls 3 if you have it. And as always, have a good one, guys. Take care.